Can you mix matcha with a spoon? How does it compare to matcha whisk with a bamboo chasen? In this experiment, we're going to try two different methods to prepare a bowl of matcha and see which one is better. So let's first talk a bit about what we're trying to do here. When it comes to mixing matcha, there are two important factors. The first is that you want to make sure the matcha is mixed evenly into the water. Because matcha is ground into a very fine powder, it begins to form clumps as soon as it's exposed to the humidity in the air. These clumps don't mix into the water, so if you really want to get serious about matcha, we recommend that you use a sifter and run the powder through it before you make your tea. This will really make a difference in the overall flavor and drinking experience, so we definitely recommend the investment. For this experiment, we wanted to make matcha with as few tools as possible, so we will be testing both versions without using the sifter. I wanted to see if you really had to, could you make decent matcha with just a bowl and a spoon? The second factor we will be looking for is foam. If you've ever seen someone whisk up a bowl of matcha, you'll notice that there's a thick green foam on top. This foam is not just for looks, it really improves the overall flavor of the tea. It makes the matcha taste smoother and creamier, almost like a latte, but without the cream or sugar. What the tea master is doing when they whisk the tea with this bamboo whisk is pushing air into the tea, which gives it a lighter texture. When I have tested other methods of matcha preparation, this is one of the hardest parts. It seems that nothing really comes close to getting that foam on top of the matcha besides the bamboo whisk. I was skeptical about this going into the experiment, but I was open to being proven wrong. To start out, I took out some basic supplies like 2 identical bowls, some ceremonial grade matcha powder, and some measuring spoons and cups, and started setting up the experiment. For this experiment, I used a level teaspoon of matcha powder for each bowl and put it in unsifted. As I mentioned before, normally I would sift the matcha, but this time I wanted to see if the whisk and spoon could remove the clumps on their own. After the matcha powder was in each of the bowls, I took half a cup of water and added it to each of the bowls. For matcha, you can use a temperature between 160 and 175 degrees Fahrenheit, but overall it tends to be less sensitive to temperature than other teas because instead of extracting flavors from the leaves, you're just mixing the whole leaf into the water. After adding the water to each bowl, it was time to mix. I first started with a spoon, and as you can see, there is already a big problem. While I would say that I'm able to stir the matcha, I can't really say that I'm able to mix the matcha. The spoon in this case is a really bad tool because it doesn't slice through the water. I need something with a lot of spaces in between to move through the water and mix the powder in. We've tried this with both a fork as well as a metal whisk, and neither of them seem to do the trick either. The other problem we have is that these clumps aren't going anywhere and the foam is nowhere to be seen. It's hard to overstate just how bad of a tool this is for making matcha. Matcha isn't really water soluble like sugar, for example. Matcha is actually a suspension, meaning that it needs to be mixed in pretty well in order to form a consistent liquid, and even then the powder will eventually settle to the bottom. As a result, you can't really just stir it into the water and expect it to dissolve. It really needs to be mixed vigorously. Next up, we will try the bamboo tea whisk. This whisk is made out of a single piece of bamboo, and the 100 small bristles move through the water quickly to aerate the tea and mix the powder into the water. Even with the unsifted matcha, it seems to do a good job at dealing with the clumps, and within seconds I have this beautiful foam on top of the tea. Immediately I knew that there is no real comparison between these two teas, but I wanted to do the taste test anyways. The matcha mix with the whisk was delicious as always. There were a few clumps here and there, which serves as a reminder how important it is to sift the powder beforehand, but they were very manageable. The flavor was consistent, and because of the foam, it was light and creamy. Now when it comes to the matcha mixed with the spoon, we start to have some problems. The main issue is that the powder is not mixed evenly into the water. This means that some sips taste like pure water and other sips have a ton of matcha clumps in them. This is really not what you want, and it leads to a really unpleasant drinking experience. So from this experiment, we learned the importance of both sifting the matcha as well as using the bamboo tea whisk. It does seem a bit silly, but the tool that has been used for hundreds of years is still somehow the best when it comes to whisking up matcha tea. If you don't have a whisk at home, you can pick one up on our website, and you can even get one for free when you join the monthly matcha club. I hope you've all enjoyed this tea experiment. It would really mean a lot to us if you could subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for future tea experiments. We also have plenty of other videos on the channel if you want to learn more about where tea comes from, how it's made, and how to prepare it. If you have any questions or suggestions for future experiments we can do, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.